Hi Cancers, and welcome to your June 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the month ahead. I hope you're all doing really well and excited for a lovely return to your season at the end of June. I think it's going to be a really nice healing Cancer season this year. But yes, let's talk a bit about Gemini season for you and moving up into your general time. So intuitive messages, as usual, followed by a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading on Patreon linked below. Let's dive into it. So there's a new relationship with the past, okay, for Cancer coming in June 2022. Either it moves out of focus or it moves into focus, depending on where you've been for the last year and a half. If you've been super past-oriented all your life, you may now not have the same space for the past. Now, if you've been more of a present-oriented person, it might be time to take a look into the past and see where you need to straighten some things up. But yes, basically, just a brand new way for Cancer to relate to the past and a brand new way to, trust in what you've built for yourself now, as it seems to be such a good environment. I feel really strongly that Cancer finally, after a really long time, has the environment that it's needed, or has the home environment, climate, location, or capability to move forward that it has needed for a very long time. And yes, this could indicate a switch in path coming soon as well, as you might start to see that what you used to want for yourself is only in the past, or what you used to be craving is not really lining up now, and there's a need to understand how you pivot or how you segue onto the next path. And June of 2022 comes in to just kind of give you enough comfort, or give you enough of the right stuff to make the important decisions happening in July and then January of 2023. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk a lot about that if you've been listening to my channel for a while. But we just need to get super healthy, okay? So Cancer's getting super healthy in June of 2022 looks like letting the past be what it was, letting there be demarcation between then and now, and letting yourself have the luxury of the present moment. So not depriving yourself of the luxury of the present moment, not depriving yourself of anything really. And also, understanding what is guaranteed to still come up in the future, or understanding what hasn't been settled as well is important for Cancers, as that can become very unsettling in the future to see such inconvenient things coming up then if we can't really face the past well. But I don't feel that that's the majority of Cancers in the first place. So it's going to be a very wonderful month to basically see that your chapter is changing, to see that you're starting a new momentum, and to heal through that. I don't know, I'm just seeing a lot of Cancers being like, finally, after years, I have the environment I've needed. It's finally come through. It's imperfect, yes. This is indeed Earth, but it's here. So that's congratulatory, Cancers, and I think throughout your entire season it's going to be like that. And it's like it has to be, in order for you to know the change in aspiration, or the change in general momentum that is coming for you now. I do think that delegation is really good for you in June. I think that it's really impactful to think about how you can have more of your own time, and how you can sit back more as certain growth happens without having to be so head-on involved. You're one of the few signs that can actually not be so involved, as a lot of the other signs are needing to meet this Jupiter and Aries time with greater involvement and greater hands-on experiences. But you can actually kind of pull back a little bit and observe, or allow for other people to move things for you, especially if you are overwhelmed, or especially if you are not feeling as if you have all of the energy that you need. There is a kind of, if you see the Two of Wands, the Hermit, the Strength card, Knight of Pentacles coming up in your reading, there's this very kind of solitary, observant, strong, and, self-empowered place that Cancer is needing to experience. It's kind of like a sanctum, or it's like a inner sanctuary of thought and process and deliberation. And it's not so recommendable for a lot of the signs to be there right now because Jupiter in Aries really does demand action, and it demands strength within a group or within a greater building process. So I do want to bring that to your attention, Cancers. Like, while yes, you have afforded yourself this great environment, you have afforded yourself independent, solitary growth, there needs to also be some type of connection to other people or some type of connection to others in order to really facilitate this. Like a complete DIY life experience, as Cancer loves a DIY situation, will not feel that great, okay? If you want to really grow or if you want to really take things to the next level, at the same time, yes, we do have Jupiter-Mars conjunct in Aries, which is leading us to be in that DIY place. But I just feel for you that you need more help or you need more assistance or more connection with other people. And also you have certain books to close or certain things to wind down, it seems, in order to give yourself the energy that you need moving forward. In fact, it might be good also to look at where you're giving too much with the Six of Cups reversed coming up, the Five of Wands, the Three of Cups. You could be overgiving. I found that myself as a fourth house person, I found that I was like giving way too much in a few situations in my life. And I found also that there was just a lot of expectation on me to give in a lot of different places. So it might be good to revisit that or to revisit where you're giving, how much you're capable of giving as a person, especially if there is a generalized feeling of being drained, of being, disillusioned, of being dull or dismayed or unkempt even. It is a really important time for you to step back a little bit and instead receive. So getting more sunlight, getting more salt water for some of you, like being by the beach, being in a environment that gives back to you some resources, because you feel kind of drained to me. And I think that Cancer season, being that we're in your 12th house and then we're moving into your first house at the end of June, it's wanting you to get a solar return, right? So it's good to get sunlight. It's good to get energy. Okay. So whatever you can do to facilitate that, I think it will be great. And, to step back into yourself and to step back into your building process instead of like the expectation of others or the just like kind of mindless giving to others. Okay. And it might not even be mindless giving. It might just like literally be like giving to the wrong people. Like there's people maybe in your life who really need or deserve something, but you've turned away, and maybe you're like giving to a bunch of people who there's like this like thought that they're who you should be giving to, but it's not really right. So like reassessing where you're giving, reassessing those boundaries, reassessing and even comparing like, okay, I've given this much to that person, I've given this much to this other person, and this was the result. Like really not depriving yourself of those results. So like we really need to pull out of any kind of like self-imposed dogma around like this person is from that background or this person does that, therefore I'm gonna like give a lot to them and I just know that that's a like mutually beneficial situation, when in reality it's like you've become, I don't know, engine for another person, or you've become just not really, the story isn't about you. You've become the side character to their stories or something. Keep an eye on that and try to really refocus yourself perhaps into a group of people where you are allowed to have your own story, or you are allowed to have your own first person experience, as Jupiter Mars in Aries this month is demanding us all to have our own stories and not just to be engines to other people's stories, or not just to be ploys or pawns in other people's games. That is very possible right now, okay? And Cancer can struggle with that because it's like the maternal or paternal energy. So that's what parents do. They are engines or resources for their children. So it's very easy for Cancer to suddenly just be like being used by someone, or just be being, someone's parent, okay? So it's at least good to know if that is what's happening, and to not like have like a disillusionment like around, yes, this is a mutually beneficial relationship, if it's not, Also dark stories about like hopping from like one person to another person, or convincing yourself that somebody was someone that they're not, and that like motivated you to be in these like weird energetic relationships, and then not actually even having any of the meaningful action that you need because you're trying to create some type of like story around why you're there. You see, Cancer, this stuff has to really step away. This stuff has to really be over. And for some Cancers, it requires a complete and total like back to center moment, or even tower moment, like come to God moment, where you basically put yourself back into the driver's seat, or you put yourself back into the power that you need to be in to decide who was who and what was what, truthfully, instead of creating weird motivational backstories that basically justify the current level of suffering, or justify the current, or color, or put a rose-colored glasses like effect onto the current cycle. So as you guys probably saw in my June comprehensive video, June is breaking a vicious cycle. So a vicious cycle ends. Okay, so people can't continue the addiction anymore. People can't continue the career that's not right for them anymore. And they have to place pretty firm parameters upon how they're moving away from that. For some people, it's like AA. For some people, it's time away at like even like rehabilitation centers. For some people, it's contracts. For some people, it's new negotiations or new deals or new types of businesses. Okay. Just a kind of a stream of consciousness into where the collective is at for you, Cancer, and how like it is very easy for you as a Cancer to maybe separate yourself and have a kind of separatist experience away from that, because you're very empowered to have this kind of like hermit DIY self-imposed situation. But the conglomeration of like Gemini and Aries energy, which might not be such a natural area for you to like focus on, it's kind of like F that moment for a lot of people. It's kind of like, you know what, I can't try to like prop up this other person's lie. I can't also continue justifying my own motivation to do that. And basically we cut through the BS here, or we cut through the dead weight of a situation, and we see through everybody, I think in June, sees through their own BS, or sees through their own tendency to falsify or find significance or motivation where there actually is none. Okay, so it's like fiat, right? It's like a fiat lifestyle or something that's totally unreal that can come crashing down in June. And what's really beautiful is to have like real relationships, or to have like people that actually, want your best interest, or people who you can trust in your life, right? When we go through these types of situations. So that's what you're called to develop now, Cancers. And as someone with a lot of Cancer in my own chart, I'm seeing like, wow, I can't keep sacrificing my time to the gods of the past. I can't keep like living for timelines that aren't here, future, past, what have you. We've really got to get into the moment here and understand where we are, which is a great place for Cancers, and start to really create the better story, you know? So, yes, a little bit of a 12th house situation for you all going on right now as the sun is transiting your 12th house, if you're a Cancer rising, certainly. But let's talk about your week to week in June. Cancers, week number 1, 5 of Wands, you're done by 6 of Cups reversed. I'm not loving the, lack of integrity-based people around Cancers right now. For some people who have a lot of Cancer in their chart, it's like more of a void, or there's just a complete lack. But for Cancers who have a lot of people around them, who are relying on a lot of people, take a look. Is it healthy competition? Is it unhealthy competition? Are you giving a fair amount? Are you receiving back what you're giving? Some of you are. And if you're receiving back like a bad situation, maybe we have to look at the bad situation we gave to another. Or start to understand that, okay, the people around me are not mutually responding. Like I'm giving 1,000,000%, I'm giving an inch, they're taking a mile, I'm giving 1,000,000%, they're giving back an inch. These types of things, which I feel are very prevalent for your sign. And the first week will show it. It's almost like the first week is just going to kind of give you a lot of data about where you are. And why not assess the current people in your life and assess how they're giving back to you, how you're giving to them, and even like compare it to people of the past, or like the types of relationships that you want in the future, and see if it lines up. It's a great time to understand where you stand and not like be discouraged about it, like not be like upset or sad or over emotional period about the results that you get. Again, Gemini season, right, is about giving data. It's about neutral data. It's about this is just the way things are. Like it's not about making it sad. It's not about making it more joyous than it is either. It's just about neutral results. And those are going to come through for you in the first week. And then we have the second week, which is very beautiful. Queen of Pentacles rooted down by the Two of Wands. Okay, Cancers, you have like total view of your comprehensive situation. And you also have like the health and the natural understanding to really work this situation in a better way. So second week of June is important for you, okay? You have the overview or the oversight or the knowledge or wisdom or perhaps the moral of this entire story like staring you right in the face. And you can like act in a really powerful way. Like I feel like there are people like from your past who are like, please just like, what can I do for you? Like, let me help you. Let me be there for you. Like people who like still really love you or still really care for you. Okay. And then there's like a bunch of those people also just like waiting like right when you step out onto your path. But it's kind of like here right in the middle zone or right in the gray zone. It's kind of like not that pretty. Okay. And that's why you have just so much time perhaps spent in your own place or in your own situation to just review and see it and witness that before there's like a greater act or a greater compelling motion for you to move forward. So basically I feel like you're kind of like waiting to step onto the path, or you're waiting perhaps to get greater data. And that's why, I recommend really subtracting a lot of emotion here and just observing the data. Being a good scientist, being a good observer will generate for you the best ways forward. Okay. Week number 3, you have the Three of Cups rooted down by the Strength card. Okay, so strength in numbers, yes. Perhaps it's indicated to start making new friends, to start even closing off previous connections and creating new ones. It's very possible during this time for everyone. And it's like you're going to grow with other people, or you're going to grow, like if you're working in a company, as the entire company grows, you're all growing. It's like there's a communal kind of growth happening here in the third week. So again, the very solitary Cancer, it's like maybe not really having access to that, or not really having that kind of like passive growth because you're so in the shell, So it is good to start coming out of the shell. It is good, now that we're in your season there in the third week, to like have the strength to come out of your shell and to maybe connect with other people and grow vicariously with them. Okay, fourth week Cancer's the Hermit rooted down by Knight of Pentacles. Yes, you are getting really strong in your own right. I totally acknowledge that. Like, even though maybe there's a hesitation to like be that involved with other people, you are getting like really, really strong and really like beautiful, or really, I don't know, just empowered within a greater journey. So there is a greater journey. I think there is a greater path, plan, or cause that's just kind of waiting for you to suit up, in your like suit of armor here and step onto it. The Hermit is also like moving forward, despite it being like solitary, and so is the Knight of Pentacles. I suppose for many Cancers, it's just going to have to be a solitary path forward for a little while here. But it's not like a solitary stagnation, okay? It's not just like a solitary, sitting at home and letting the time pass, okay? This really is solitary movement or solitary progress now. So let's talk more about that in your extended reading on Patreon, Cancers. I will link it below, and in the center of your screen now I will get a central theme into supporting themes, and we'll look more into like what progress is looking like for Cancers and what this solitary or grouped or coupled path might entail. So thank you all so much. I so appreciated you listening to this reading. If you made it all the way through, hit the thumbs up button, and so much love to my Cancer people. I hope you're happy, healthy, and enjoying the current period of time. Have a wonderful, wonderful month of June. Much love. Bye.